Hello and welcome to this week's podcast. I'm Mod MattHe and I have with me today...
Mod Raven.
And we're going to be talking all things Seren.
Yes.
Why would that be, Mod Raven?
Because we have the Seren Quest, otherwise known as The Light Within, coming out soon.
So why is it called The Light Within?
It was, well, we bandied a number of names around the team, and we settled on The Light Within because it's a kind of play on Within the Light, a previous elf quest.
Right.
And it's referring to kind of Seren being, well, the light within the elf city, really. She's kind of what sort of drives it all.
Right, okay.
Yeah, she's a sort of weird crystal essence-y thing at the moment, so it was that kind of light within the elf city. And mostly it was the play on Within the Light, I'll be honest. That is our main
playing
reason.
On the other word, yeah. So why did we decide to do this quest rather than some of the other options we had available?
Well, this one won a Rune Labs poll. It was suggested by Gaga Lady, and it was very, very popular.
Right.
And that's pretty much the reason we did it, is it was what players wanted, it was what was voted for in Rune Labs, and so that's what we worked on.
So congratulations to Gaga Lady.
Yes, congratulations to Gaga Lady.
So what are the requirements for The Light Within?
Okay, so skill-wise, you need 80 agility, 80 crafting, 80 divination, 80 herb lore, 80 prayer, 80 slayer, and 80 woodcutting.
Right.
You need to have completed the quests Meeting History, Temple at Sentiston, and all the elf quests, and Fate of the Gods, and World Wakes.
Wow.
It's quite a lot.
So that's quite a set.
Yep.
So that makes this quest a...
Grandmaster quest.
Grandmaster quest. What was the last Grandmaster quest we had?
I think it was Fate of the Gods, wasn't it? I think.
I'm sure our listeners will correct us.
I'm sure they will.
And if not, and if you're wrong, you'll be embarrassed.
I won't, but I'll go, oh yeah, of course. And that'll be the end of it for me.
Okay, so why a Grandmaster quest?
Because it's the culmination of quite a lot of stuff. It's the next step on from the Elf City, really, in terms of lore anyway.
Yeah.
And the Elf City is in itself kind of Grandmaster, let's be honest. So it didn't make sense to go, yeah, let's make it a novice little quest, because that would make absolutely no sense whatsoever. So it kind of is just the natural progression, really.
I suppose you have to have access to the Elf City anyway to be able to do it.
Yeah, well, yes.
Yes. So Elf City, with its raft of 75 requirements,
yes,
makes sense to have a natural
progression. So add an extra 5 on. Oh yeah, with that hardcore.
Okay, so where do the players start?
You will start the quest by going and speaking to your lovely friend Elinard, who's in the Ithel section of the Elf City.
Right, okay. And now, of course, you're going to tell us what happens in the quest, yeah?
For a limited degree. I think people are well aware that I don't like giving out spoilers, and I've been quite big on trying to stop spoilers around everything else with this. But I can tell you bits.
Go on then. What bits can you tell me?
There's stuff that we have given away, so obviously it's to do with Seren, and it's to do with restoring Seren, so I don't think that's too big a spoiler. Okay. I think players will be aware of that. You'll get to visit some cool places. You'll get to visit Tarthiad. I think, again, that's another thing that we've leaked already.
Where's Tarthiad?
Tarthiad is the ancestral homeworld of the elves.
Right, okay.
It's another plane, and it looks awesome.
Okay.
And so you'll be able to go there both during the quest and post-quest as a reward.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what more I can say without spoilering. And not very much, so I will just now...
You have to talk to lots of elves, I guess.
You have to talk to elves, yes. If you don't like elves, this is not the quest for you.
So I'm going to get elf cooties from talking to elves.
Yeah, maybe. Elf cooties. I'm judging you right now.
Okay, so, and of course the end of the quest will be awesome.
Yes.
Yes. And I understand... I think Mod Mark hinted in the month ahead that there might be some choices you have to make.
Yes, there are a number of choices that quite a few of them won't be immediately obvious. Yeah. Some of them will be immediately obvious.
Okay.
But a few of them won't be immediately obvious, but they are setting stuff up for in future.
Okay.
I can't say too much about the choices, again, because spoilers, but some of them will be... well, at least one of them should make the players go, ooh. Otherwise, you're heartless. which, I approve of, but that's fine.
Okay, so there'll be some tough choices.
Yes.
Oh, tough choices are good.
I would like to think so, yeah.
Tough choices have consequences.
Yes.
So, rewards then.
Yes.
What rewards will the players be likely to receive?
So, the most obvious rewards will be the spells and prayers, which were one of the things that we've been very open about these, so I don't think there's any surprise here.
Well, we've got a big list to go through in a minute.
Yeah, we have. There are, I think, 14 new spells, I think?
Right.
Number of new prayers. I might be wrong.
I'm sure we'll work it out in a second.
I haven't recently done the adding, but we've got a number of stuff. And at the very least, these will be good bases for possible future additions.
Yeah.
Key thing being the prisms, which are things that you cast as a spell that appear near the player and do an effect over time. So they have like a number of ticks, and you can maintain them and you can buff them and do sorts of things, which we've got sort of, I think, 4 at the moment, but we could always, it would be a good idea to see what more we could add later.
Yeah.
But we didn't have all the development time in the world to do all the things we wanted to do.
Well, so as is so often the case, we could just keep adding stuff.
We had quite a lot of original things that we just had to be sensible and go through and go, nope. Because, we couldn't do all of these and the quest, or indeed some of them, all of these. And there are a couple of them that we were just told, you can't do them. Don't be stupid. One of them required completely rewriting combat. We decided that maybe we should.
Maybe that wasn't the best idea.
Yeah. For a rather niche reward as well. Like, maybe not. The other thing you'll get is quite a respectable amount of XP.
Of glorious XP.
Of glorious XP, but it's not bonus XP.
Right. Okay.
And for those of you interested, it'll be done in the form of XP lamps. So you can save them, you can use them when you want to do a 99 party or something. Yeah. Or you can do what I do and just go, yay, and click them the moment you get them. But
inefficient use of lamps, how dare you?
I'm not an efficiency player. Anyone who has seen me play the game knows I'm not an efficiency player. I am a stupid player.
What do you do in dungeons?
I mostly giggle incoherently and run around the place trolling my teammates. I'm not a good person to have in dungeons.
And grow potatoes.
I grow potatoes. It's very important. Everyone has to be well fed on potatoes. It's vital.
Okay.
A bit of a diversion there.
So let's run through the spells.
Okay.
Given there are so many of them.
There are quite a few.
So there are auroras first, yeah?
So the auroras are the direct combat spells of the sort of light side. So one of the things we've done, and this is going to be hinting later towards on the prayers, is we have, listening to feedback from players, we have updated Ancient Magic. So they have a chance to proc on abilities. So previously they didn't, they worked on the autocast. I don't know the exact number, but there is a small chance of the extra effects will now go off. So you'll get things like the Blood Barrage bonus or Ice Barrage, whatever you want to use. They will take the runes from you when they do this, so there's no free ride. Yeah. And these work with the light form of the prayer, so these will proc when the prayer is active at a higher chance. Because light and dark form give you a better chance of these abilities proccing. Okay. We have Opal Aurora, which is your kind of... If you've got the person who's in charge of the prisms, they should probably have this active. Because every time this goes off, it will increase the lifespan of the prisms. Right, okay. So you can't maintain them indefinitely, but you can keep them going quite a nice long time. Yeah. The next one we have is Sapphire Aurora. What this one does is it increases the sort of power of the next tick of the prisms. Okay. So it either heals slightly more or it does slightly better. Okay. Emerald Aurora is our kind of tank spell. Yeah. The others are mostly for other people. This one is for you. When you cast this, when it procs, you will get a stacking damage reduction buff. Right. It stacks up to 5 times, and it's a percent each stack, so you can get up to 5% damage reduction, which stacks with every other form of damage reduction. Right. So you can get some nice, good things going on. Nice combinations going on, while still throwing damage at the baddie, so you can still contribute effectively. And then the antithesis of that is Ruby Aurora, which will find everyone else but you nearby, and it has a chance of giving them a damage buff. So the more people nearby, you can make them deal more damage. So it'd be very good against bosses. You can get all your teammates together and wail on the baddie. Group up and go for it. Yeah. Okay.
And then prisms.
Yeah, so the prisms are the slightly more interesting thing that we're doing with these prizes and creating this little sort of thing that floats by you, and it does a damage buff.
Crystal thing.
Well, not damage, it does a buff for everyone around you. So it's not just you; it's everyone around you who's accepts Adon.
Okay.
And isn't an Iron Man.
And remembers to turn accept Adon.
And remembers to, because we both, Ash and I, forgot
on the live stream. You both forgot to have accept Adon.
Yes. Yeah, like I said, at the moment these I don't believe work with Iron Man accounts.
Okay.
After feedback from our teammates, so if you think they're wrong, tell us. We have the Prism of Restoration, which is useful for familiars. It will heal the familiar. It will increase the familiar special attack energy, so it will heal that as well. And when you're using a scroll, it will have a chance for the scroll to not be used up. So you basically get a free use of the special attack. So it's good to prop one of these down, and because it just sits there, so you can cast it early on and then just occasionally remember about it. It also goes nicely with the Sapphire Aurora to heal more, so you can keep your creature going for longer. Next one we've got is the Prism of Salvation. This one's a bit of a weird one. When you place this prism down, it doesn't do any kind of buffs or healing or anything. What it does do is that your teammates can click on the Aurora and on the prism and teleport to it immediately.
Right.
As long as they're within sort of line of walk. So you can't jump over fences and you can't unblockable things, but you will get out of danger immediately and appear by it.
Right, okay.
So
I can think of some uses for that.
Yeah, if you think about like a boss is about to charge at you and you go, oh no, I can't escape, you can click the thing and teleport to it.
Yeah.
Or I'm convinced that players will find really interesting uses for it.
Yeah.
So we're going to be intrigued to see how people use that one, but I think
I can think of some interesting uses for that.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool to see. Prism of Loyalty is one of my favourites, which is this creates another prism that appears by you, and what you do is you kind of pour your health into it, so it hurts you, but it gives a kind of energy pool for this prism.
Right.
And then when allies are low on health, if they're nearby the prism, it will heal them automatically.
Okay.
So it's a kind of like, you put them down to support your teammates so that they will get that appropriate kind of healing at the right time when they most need it, and don't have to rely on them clicking things.
Yeah.
It picks the nearest person, the first person to need it, rather than any kind of you choose who does it, so it's easy to manage.
Yeah.
And again, you can keep it going around and you can top it up and you can do things, and I'm fairly sure it stacks with Barricade for everyone who's asked ever.
Very nice.
And then the final one we've got is Prism of Dowsing, which is our skilling one.
Yeah.
You put this one down by divination location, by the crater or wherever.
Yeah.
And what it does is it finds wisps and it draws them to it. And then when you use it, when you want to use one of these wisps and you start sort of siphoning off them, you will get an increased chance of getting enriched. And this is a bonus for everyone who's by that prism. So anyone, if you see someone drop a Prism of Dowsing, go over next to them and you'll get much better rates of enrichment and stuff.
Okay.
And you won't have to move much because it will drag the wisps to you.
Really?
Which will make life nice and easy.
Yeah.
So it should be a good, useful little skilling spell, particularly with,
nice little
with
utility.
friends.
Yeah.
Some other ones we've got Intercept. What this one does is, again, you do accept Adon and it won't work on Iron Man. You use this on another player and it kind of wards them, it puts a ward on them for a few seconds.
Right.
And during that time, any damage they take, you will take instead.
Yeah.
So you get it a reduced amount. You take 95% of that damage.
Okay.
So it's useful particularly if you're the tank and you have massive health pool and you see one of your friends is about to die, you go, no, I will save you, and you cast the ward on them. And then when they get hit, they go, oh, I get to live, and you go, I'm only mildly inconvenienced, which should be good.
Yeah.
And the next one we have with that one is another spell to work with your teammates. I mean, you can use it on yourself, but it kind of defies the point, which is Shield Dome. And you create a little force field over you, and you sort of sit there channeling it. So you can't do anything while it's active, you just channel it. But anyone who stands within the dome, again, who's accept Adon, will get a damage reduction buff of, it starts at 50%.
Okay.
So that's 50% of all damage is just ignored. And again, this stacks with other things. And they also get an accuracy debuff because you're trying to fire through a wibbly force field. So you get an accuracy debuff. There is diminishing returns on this. For every additional one after that one you get, it's half as effective. Okay. So you can't just sort of stack it forever and going, you can never harm me. You have to wait.
Yeah.
It's I think a 2-minute cooldown, so it should be very useful if used at the right time. But it's not useful to just sit there and constantly spam cast it. There's no advantage.
Useful for phases.
Useful for phases, useful for certain boss fights. I'm sure players will find other uses for it as well.
I'm sure they will.
It's, So then we have Crystallize. Crystallize is another skilling spell. And what you do with this one is you cast it on a mining, woodcutting, fishing, or hunter, a full box trap hunter.
Yeah.
And it will crystallize it. It will convert it to crystal, meaning that whilst you gather from it, you won't get any resources, but you will get increased XP.
Okay.
I think it's another 50%. But also that particular node won't destabilize, it won't disappear. So for trees, it won't be felled. For mining locations, it won't be removed.
Nice.
It will still be removed if another player is doing it.
Right.
But the crystallize spell will wait until it's come back, and then the tick will continue. So it's 30 seconds. Another player can't ruin it, don't worry. You just have to be patient. For the fishing location, it will automatically make you move to it if the fishing spot moves.
Okay.
It makes it a bit easier to kind of almost AFK it. You crystallize it, click it, and it'll do it for you.
Okay.
And Hunter, the trap, will just not be removed. So you'll get that constant Hunter XP going.
Ray.
But no resources. And, of course, balance to be more sensible than my previous playtest of it did when I first prototyped it. Because there's no delay on clicking it in the normal code.
Right.
So it's just sat there just watching Hunter XP just going up this long stream. I think it worked out as a couple of million an hour. Timbo told me no.
I would have liked that. But no, Timothy, no.
No. The next one we've got is Rapid Growth, which is a farming spell. And what this one does is you cast it on herb, tree, or fruit tree farming patches, and it will just automatically move to the next stage. Guaranteed, not ill. And this stacks with the potion from the mole.
Yeah. So
you can do this once per day per patch. It should make things just a bit faster for certain things. It should be a little useful. Then Crystal Mask. This lasts for 5 minutes, and it gives a bonus to your pickpocketing.
Right, okay.
Which I think is about 15%. I might be wrong.
Okay.
That's what I have off the top of my head. And also, if you do get caught by someone who would stun you, it has a chance to stop you being stunned.
Nice.
So it should be quite useful.
Yeah.
And then finally, we have Spellbook Swap, which is identical to Spellbook Swap from the Luna book, but it's in the Ancient book now. So you can swap between the Ancient, Luna, and standard spellbooks as needed.
Right.
Should be good.
And then prayers.
Oh, yes, prayers.
We still have prayers to go?
We still have prayers, yes. So,
because, frankly, there are lots of rewards.
Yeah, it should be nice and meaty, and it should also be a good sort of starting point if people want to suggest more.
Yeah.
We're not immediately planning to do more, I should say, but if it becomes popular and it looks like there are things that are needed, we could look into it.
Okay. So, tell me about the prayers then.
So, we have Light and Dark form. If you remember earlier saying that we've now made it so there is a percentage chance for the ancient spells to proc on abilities. What these do is they double that chance. So it's much more likely for these to go off. So if you want to be supporting the prisms, you would have Light form on and casting Opal Aurora and Sapphire Aurora. If you want to be supporting your teammates, you would have Light form on to cast Ruby Aurora, so they get the damage buff. If, however, you just want to murder the enemies with massive efficiency, you would have Dark form on, so that you can laugh maniacally as they freeze and you suck the life force out of them, etc.
Zaros is a badass, isn't he?
He is, yes. Yeah. Then we've got Chronicle Absorption, which is a prayer to make things just a bit more convenient, really, which is that currently when a Chronicle appears, you have to grab it, which stops you doing your current divination, then you run off and use it on an altar, etc. to get XP. What this prayer does, it just says, none of that, thanks, and it just takes the Chronicle, automatically captures it, and it converts it immediately to the relevant XP.
All right, okay.
So it's a nice little useful thing. So again, if you use it for divination, particularly with the what's it called, Prism of Dowsing around it, it should be quite useful. Yeah,
it's nice synergy there.
Yeah. Then we have the slightly more interesting couple of them, which are like Soul Link. What Soul Link does is it finds another player nearby who also has Soul Link active, so you need to have a couple people with this on, and it will share.
Do you need to have Accept Aid on by some chance?
You do also need to have Accept Aid on.
Okay. Do you know where that is now?
I do know where that is now, yes. And what Soul Link does is it sort of splits the damage and healing that you get between the two of you.
Right, okay.
So half the damage you would take gets sent to them, half the healing you take will get sent to them, which makes it useful for kind of balancing things out.
Okay.
And smoothing things out, it should be quite useful. And Teamwork Protection, what this does is it finds everyone around you who also has Teamwork Protection active, and for each one that it finds, it gives a damage reduction across all styles, like the Protection Prize.
Yeah.
And it also gives a Retaliate chance.
Oh, right, okay.
A chance to reflect that damage. So I think it's 5% damage reduction per person, and then 1% Retaliate chance per person.
Okay.
It stacks at 5, but that's still a quarter of damage removed and a 5% chance to hit back.
Nice.
Which should be pretty good. So if you have a team of you going up against something, you should all have this on, and you should get some nice, just general bonuses going out with it. It should be good. Then we have Superheat Form. And what this one does is it automatically smelts any ore that you mine.
Right.
It automatically burns any logs that you cut.
Lovely.
And converts them immediately to the... Well, it doesn't convert them, it gives you the XP as well.
Yeah.
So it's, again, a quality of life, just make things a bit easier. If you can't be bothered to run back and forth to a furnace, you just turn this on and keep mining. You need to have the relevant amount of coal. You don't get to skip coal.
Right.
Other than that, it should be fine.
Okay.
And then the final one is Fortitude, which boosts your defense, gives you a small HP buff, and it also doubles health regen and allows health regen in combat.
Love the regenning in combat.
It should be quite useful for a tank, particularly if you stack on the other things as well.
Yeah.
So if you have this active, you have the Emerald Dart on, and you have your Teamwork Protection, Soul Split, then you Soul Share, then you can get some nice kind of tanking going on. It should be quite useful.
Brilliant. That's a really massive set of stuff.
Yes, it's quite a lot.
Yeah, it's a great set of rewards. So, last question. When are we going to see the quest?
Hopefully you'll be seeing it next week. On the 17th is our planned launch date.
Right, okay.
Obviously, I say hopefully because things can sometimes explode. Hopefully nothing will.
But it looks like...
It looks like the 17th of November.
Wow. Can't wait. Are you looking forward to it?
I am looking forward to it, yes. It'd be nice to see it finally out there. We've spent quite a while working on it, so it's nice to see it being used.
And when it comes out, I assume you'll be all over the forums? And
I'll be in game, I'll be on Twitter, I'll be on the forums, I'll be trolling Reddit. It'll be difficult not to spot me, probably.
So if you have any questions on the day, feel free to hassle Mod Raven.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, thanks for coming in today, Mod Raven.
It's quite all right.
It's been great to chat to you. And if you'd like to say bye-bye to the listeners now.
Bye-bye, listeners.
Bye-bye, listeners.